Welcome back, guys. You're watching Entrepreneur, and in this video we're going to be going over today's stories as well as a topic that I wanted to discuss due to some of the stories that I did see when I reviewed some of the news sites that I check out every morning. So before we get into that, we'll check out some of the price analysis across the market leaders as well as some of the coins I'm looking at to trade today. But for those of you guys who are not already, make sure to think about subscribing as we post daily cryptocurrency content for you guys, helping you guys out with trading, understanding these markets, and much, much more. So getting into it, we can see Bitcoin at about 6,500. Overall, we're seeing a pretty red day. But of course, a pretty red day as of late has been only a couple $100 in, dropping from Bitcoin's price. So as you can see, Bitcoin was up at around 6,700 almost yesterday. The past few days, and has since then had a drop down to about 6,400, where we have found some support at around 6,490. It looks like has really been that key support level that we've been holding, as well as the 200-day moving average on the 4-hour. So that's what I'm really looking for today, to see if we can hold that area. If you pay attention to the MACD, once I can bring it up here, the MACD showing some volume, starting to curve back towards the upside. Hopefully we can continue that trend and not drop any further, as that would bring us below the 200-day moving average. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. The RSI looks better than it has been looking. Of course, it was a bit overinflated when Bitcoin's back up towards 6,700. So it's good that we got a bit of a refresher on the RSI. So we can hopefully go for another run up, passing 6,700, hopefully breaking out of this sort of long-term trend that we've been in, that we've been discussing for the past few weeks now, really. Top of the trend, as you guys know, is upwards of around 6,800 to 7,000. So that is the key level that we're looking for. Fortunately, we've been really holding the bottom area of the channel really well. As you can see, we haven't really broken out of the middle of the channel as of lately, past week or so. So hopefully we can get a bounce today or tomorrow or the next week or so, back up to above the middle of this channel, hopefully pushing towards a larger breakout within the next few weeks to next few months. Now getting into some of the stories that I wanted to discuss today, we have these two stories right here, two different views on the current markets, and I wanted to discuss, is crypto on the brink of an implosion or an explosion? Okay, so the future guessing game is what this article calls it. So we'll start out with the negative aspect of crypto is on the brink of an implosion. So attempts to guess what direction the crypto market will take next now have a new angle, and it's called "The Industry is on the Brink of an Implosion," at least according to a new study by digital commerce and fintech firm Juniper Research, that claims that this year's sell-off in the crypto market may have just been the beginning of a broader decline of the crypto economy. So the focus that they tend to is right here. So the study pointed to the fact that daily Bitcoin transactions volumes have fallen from 360,000 per day in late 2017 to 230,000 as of September 2018. So this is the graph that they actually used, showing how many Bitcoin transactions are taking place. And as you can see, if you can see zoom, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but January 2017, the number of transactions were actually higher than they are now, actually well above 250,000, nearing 300,000 transactions per day. That is per day, correct? Yes, okay, so those are the daily transaction volumes, and unfortunately we have seen a large drop in those volumes since really January 2018, of course, when we saw the large crash. So that is the main point that they're making, the main aspect that they're looking at. And then the article goes in to talk about a varied opinion, but continuing on, researchers, according to excuse me guys, I always have this going on. According to researchers, worsening economic conditions internationally this year should be favorable for alternative currencies like Bitcoin, considering events such as the decline of several fiat currencies due to global trade tensions, Brexit, and currency crisis in several developing countries. As these events so far have failed to translate into higher crypto prices, Juniper concluded that it is unlikely to prosper as and when these issues are resolved. So basically what he's saying is, with all these different crises, with a few countries' currencies actually failing, we have seen some countries try to implement cryptocurrency, but we have not really seen the daily transaction volumes in Bitcoin that we would expect to see if Bitcoin was the solution to these issues. So my overall opinion on this so far is that I don't know if Bitcoin is going to be the go-to currency to do transactions, and I think that's where this article is at fault, that they don't mention that Bitcoin really isn't that coin that should even be used for daily transactions. I mean, it's more of a store value. The transactions take a lot longer, and it's more of viewed, like I said, as a store value currency or a gold alternative. So continuing on, like any asset, it is worth whatever someone is prepared to pay for it. And people, saying basically people have not been willing to pay more for what it is. In short, given our concerns around both the innate valuation of Bitcoin and the operating practices of many exchanges, we feel that the industry is on the brink of implosion. Also, according to Holden, there's a decline in the base of individuals who are willing to pay inflated prices for cryptocurrencies. Credit card companies have banned customers from paying Bitcoin on their card, and social media sites have banned initial coin offering advertising. So highlighting a lot of things that honestly are old news. The credit card companies, I mean, that was a story back in the beginning of this year. ICO coin offering, again, back in the beginning of this year, middle of this year. So a lot of the things that they're mentioning in this article are really not anything that is new to me, which is why it's almost like they're just going off of a bit of stale data. And I really don't think just because of the daily transaction volumes, that means that we're going to see an implosion in the market. I don't see how they could come to that conclusion based off of these numbers. So jumping into the article that talks about Bitcoin is about to explode, right? The opposite point of view mainly is around the ETF decision, which they actually mention in the end of this article as well. So crypto analyst and host of CNBC's show Crypto Radar, Rand Neuner, has claimed that the price of Bitcoin is about to explode in a recent tweet on October 7th. So expresses utmost confidence in an upcoming surge in Bitcoin's price by noting, "I just bought Bitcoin for my parents." In the same tweet, a notable rally would likely be tied in the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission's highly anticipated upcoming decision on several ETF decisions. So explaining his optimistic prediction, the crypto analyst pointed to the fact that the leading cryptocurrencies rally last year from 6691 to 20,000 was, according to him, on the back of the expectation and launch of a cash settlement Bitcoin futures contract. Following confirmation from the U.S. CFTC that the CBOE and the CME were eligible to launch Bitcoin futures, CBOE was the first to launch Bitcoin futures on December 11th, while CME launched soon after on December 17th, the day Bitcoin has hit its historic high of $20,000. Pointing at Bitcoin futures, Neuner made a parallel with the SEC's much-anticipated decision on the first Bitcoin ETFs to be approved by the regulator. The analyst claimed that a Bitcoin ETF is a way bigger deal than a cash settlement Bitcoin futures contract, since it requires actual purchase of Bitcoin. So again, highlighting the fact that we're banking on an ETF decision, again, is not the only catalyst that I think can come into play and change the outcome of the market. But it is a major one. And again, the SEC did schedule their deadline for November 5th. So again, right now it is October 10th as I am making this video. So we have about a month to wait for that decision. And hopefully we can get a positive outcome from that decision and a bit of a run up towards the end of this year. So I want to hear what you guys think. about the SEC looking to make a decision on these ETFs. Do you think we'll have a positive outcome? Do you think we'll have a negative one? And do you think that the ETF can affect the market as the futures contract did last year, running Bitcoin up to $20,000? So leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. I will be sure to get back to you guys if you guys want to have any sort of discussion on this. I'm intrigued to see what you guys think, as this has been really the story that we've looked at all year, waiting on the ETF. And if we don't get it at the end of this year, I think the way the market will play out into 2019 will be a lot different than we all expected. So looking forward to hearing some of your guys' thoughts in the comment section. But besides that, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another one. Have a good one, guys.